Good evening and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Mephisto, and always with me, my co-host, All My Feelings. Good evening to you, sir.
Eating, buddy.
What is the Reel McCoy? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we send you off to watch a movie. You watch it and come back to us, and we geek out and nerd on it and break it down for you in tiny little pieces as we enjoy the movie. Today, we start off on Richard Donner month. We have a few movies that were directed by Richard Donner. He died about a year ago-ish, around July. So it is our homage to the man and his work. He has done many, many fantastic films. Oh, my feelings, how was your week?
Very, very busy.
Very, very busy. We are joined by Culture Casino. How are you, my good friend?
I'm extraordinary. I'm wonderful. I'm great. I'm spectacular, and I'm excited because I get to talk about
awesome.
films.
That's what we want to see. Yeah. All right. So before we start everything, if you want to interact with the show, please at me on Twitter at Mephisto. You can DM me. DMs are open. You can DM me on Instagram or by the way, digital marketers, go fuck yourself, burn in hell. If you want to email the show, the Reel McCoy podcast at gmail.com. And if you want to follow Culture Casino, you can definitely click on in the description. You have a little gray box. You can click on it. It'll send you straight to Culture Casino on YouTube. You can follow him on Twitter, same name, Culture Casino. And of course, if you are a Minds user, you can use it on Minds. Of course, we will also have, it's not there yet, his gilded option to go there and enjoy his community on the whole. Anything else, Sculpture?
No,
that's about it,
wonderful.
Right?
Thank you.
Let us begin because we don't have you for a very much longer. So we'll jump in straight into our first segment of the night, which is we go to All My Feelings and we get the lowdown on Behind the Screens.
Production take 2.
All right, All My Feelings, take it away.
Okay, originally the original scriptwriter Shane Black wrote the original draft in 1985 while he was still attending UCLA, but it had significantly more violence, it had significantly more action, and it actually focused on characters that were slightly different from the Riggs and Murtaugh that we have known and loved for how many decades now. Yep. He eventually went back, realized how much he had hated the original draft of the script, rewrote it, and sent it to Warner Brothers. Now, the only thing of note from the original was the original intended ending was there was supposed to be a bus that was full of the undercarriage was completely full of kilos of cocaine, and it was supposed to crash over the Hollywood Hills into the Hollywood sign, and it was supposed to snow cocaine for Christmas.
Why have they not done that? Is amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Yeah. Couldn't save that for Lethal Weapon 2? God damn it.
Yeah. So originally, most of the people at Warner Brothers actually turned it down, but it was the executive Mark Canton who read the script. He liked it, but there were a lot of darker parts to it. So he took the script to Joel Silver, who was a producer. Then he brought that to Richard Donner. Donner then brought on Jeffrey Baum to rewrite and kind of fluff up some of the other bits of the film, take out some of the darker bits and add some of the levity that's in it. Because before, this was a straight, serious action film. There was no lighthearted comedy bits. There was no joking about how Mrs. Murtaugh's cooking is terrible throughout the entire goddamn movie. But given the success that Jeffrey Baum had with the original draft, Shane Black and another unlisted co-writer tried to write Lethal Weapon 2. That got rejected. So Jeffrey Baum wrote Lethal Weapon 2, then 3.
Okay.
So the guy that came in to do the fluff pieces and had the comedy work wrote 2 and 3.
All right. I get it. I mean, that kind of explains Joe Pesci.
Well, no. Well, yeah, because that was in 4, right? That was 3.
No, he is in 2.
Yes,
and then he like he really becomes Leo Getz in 3.
Yes.
He was
So-
like a side character in 2, and
Mhm.
then he becomes the Leo Getz in 3, and in 4 it's just go on.
But speaking of directors, though, Leonard Nimoy was actually considered to direct the film, but he was too busy at the time making was it 3 Men and a Little Baby.
Whoa. He directed 3 Men and a Little Baby?
He was working on the project at the time.
Oh, okay. I don't remember him. Never mind.
No, I don't think he directed it. He was working on it, though. But
Okay.
anyway, so some casting stuff that's really kind of funny is there were several different odd casting decisions that were made during this. Originally, Bruce Willis was considered for the role of Riggs. He turned it down to play John McClane in Die Hard. Mel Gibson turned down the role of John McClane to play Riggs.
Nice. See, culture. This is why he's here. I told you this before he came on. It's like last week.
Impressive.
We had to resort to IMDb trivia for these things.
Oh boy,
I'm not joking.
But
Okay.
one thing is really funny though is there is actually one item throughout the entire film that were used in both films.
Hmm?
The Beretta, the prop Beretta was used in Lethal Weapon and in Die Hard by Riggs and by John McClane. The same prop gun. It was retired after the wrapping of Die Hard 1.
How much is it worth now?
Probably a lot of money.
All right, cool.
Gibson also turned down the role in The Fly.
Okay.
That's probably a good call.
Good.
And The Untouchables.
Very good.
That was a good call because I couldn't imagine The Untouchables without Costner.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. At one point in time, too, Michael Bain was briefly considered for the role of Murtaugh, but he was actually working with Ridley Scott on Aliens.
Oh, you see, it's really hard to picture the Lethal Weapon without a black guy. I
see
what it is because look at 48 Hours and how well that worked culturally between a black dude and a white guy. I know. We don't want to get into this, but it's that thing, that spark where they start off as opposites and they bond together really works well like that.
Well, what's funny too is originally Murtaugh was written as there was no race intended.
Yeah, I know.
Whatsoever. And in fact, a lot of those other bits were actually done when Jeffrey Baum was doing punch-ups on the script after Danny Glover had signed on. Okay. So a lot of the different affectations of the time in African American culture were added after Danny Glover was actually added to the cast.
Yeah, but they're not prominent, really.
No, they're not prominent, but it just kind of adds a little bit of.
He could be cast as a white guy. It's not necessarily you don't see it. It's just
pretty much so. Yeah,
yeah.
No, I agree. Again, Gibson and Glover. Just it's clear that they spent multiple hours doing ride-alongs with LAPD officers.
Yeah,
and they spent 2 months of training, physical training, for the role, with actually multiple different martial arts experts, especially Gibson, because he actually trained with the Gracie family in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You can tell, and you could like the last fight with Gary Busey wasn't pure jiu-jitsu, but the last bit of it, the triangle. Never mind.
Yeah, between filming, the Busey and Gibson would spend up to 4 hours a day doing fight choreography.
Wow.
That's amazing.
They took the role very, very, very seriously. And oddly enough, to add tension, this is just a really funny note because Richard Donner liked to do this to we're gonna run across this theme a lot during this month because Donner really, really liked to fuck with his actors. He really liked to. So what he did to build tension between Busey and Gibson was he would blame each other for taking the last waffle from craft services, even though he was the one that took it.
Wow.
You know who else does that for real? Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah, I can
used
see
to
that.
do that
Yeah.
to Hulk Hogan and anyone else who did. Like, he did this to Terry Bollea a lot. Well, not to him, to the other guys, to make him hate, to make Terry Bollea hate him.
I would say the only other really one was, in the suicide contemplation scene, there actually is a blank in the chamber that Mel Gibson had in the prop gun.
Jesus.
Taking the role a little bit too seriously there, bud.
That's a bit Brandon Lee for me.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Anything else?
I say Murtaugh actually only says, "I'm too old for this shit," despite the common misconception. The "I'm getting too old for this shit" was only in Lethal Weapon 2 and later.
I knew that too. Culture, we kind of discussed it, but we I brushed it off. You said something about Donner that you wanted to.
Donner was a director. He did a lot of surprising things. He was kind of, believe it or not, just ingrained in comedy in a way most people don't realize. And one of my favorites, a film that could not be made today, he directed Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor in a film called The Toy. And
yes.
It is an incredible film you could not make today, where essentially this little boy finds a black man that entertaining, and so I mean, of course, I'm doing a terrible service to the plot of the film, but Jackie Gleason is incredibly wealthy, so he hires this man to be a toy. It's very interesting. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I know I got the plot wrong, but it's very, very good. And there is a wonderful friendship that occurs between the little boy and Richard Pryor's character, and it is a very it would be more poignant today than anybody would realize. But again, we're not diving into the cultural garbage that we've been infested with.
Yeah.
You said Toy to me. And I said, I don't remember that movie. It came out in 1982.
82.
And I watched like, where you search it, the images. Mm-hmm. I know I've seen it. I need to rewatch it. It's a
good film.
It speaks to a lot of things nowadays. I mean, it really, really does. I really enjoyed it. And again, it's just one of the many projects that you would be surprised he was involved in, because he was involved in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't often get credit for some of the stuff that you would think he would, but he was a different kind of cultural influence, and I think it's great. I mean, one of my other favorite comedic performances that he directed was Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Yep.
We
covered that one.
We covered that one early on, like last year.
Bad. Yeah, and he also did another wonderful child enduring film called Goonies. You guys probably talked about that.
That's coming up. Actually,
we are covering it in a couple of weeks.
Oh, it's so good, that movie.
Yeah.
See, and so a lot of people just don't recognize just how this guy could make any kind of film. The Lethal Weapon franchise put him in the $1 billion director club. The Lethal Weapon franchise did. That's what made him the money. That's ridiculous, because again, I mean, you don't have to go that far back to talk about, Superman and other things like that, right? I mean, and he, passing. I mean, he had a good long life. I mean, he lived to like the age of 91. So it's not like
he directed actually 3 or 4 episodes of The Twilight Zone as well, and some very, very good episodes as well.
He was just speaking of just how much of a gift he was. I mean, and this is why I'm digging the vibe here, right? Because we're talking about the films that we love by the people that we love, and I love this. This is a good time. So yeah,
awesome. Let's dive into. Oh, by the way, one last thing that is kind of movie related or not.
Yeah.
Culture, you said you haven't watched the movie recently. That's no problem. That's okay. The one thing you do pick up, because I haven't watched Lethal Weapon in a very long while. I watched it twice this week, once for just watching it, just to critically watch it, and once because we have a little segment at the end, which it's called the short version, where I take the movie and condense it to about 2 minutes. But that's
Cool.
like at the end of the show. That not to worry. So the one thing I did pick up is every so often Mel Gibson's Aussie accent kind of slips under the radar.
Yeah.
Kind of slips under the radar. Most of the time it's good, but when he like gets a little bit annoyed, kind of slips under the radar.
Yeah,
you kind of hear that good day thing.
Yeah, but even in those performances, I mean, even the most method of guys will have a slip up during a performance. It's almost impossible for stuff like that not to leak through. So.
All right. I mean, so I'm gonna skip the first scene. First scene is literally the daughter that commits suicide.
Yeah, it was
rough. Which I'll be the only thing that's really funny about that is the clear doll. Where it does that jump cut, the 80s infamous jump cut, where it goes to like person and then falling doll. And then and then person on the last little bit, right before
when the thing crashes, you see the camera not filming the crash itself, but from the inside of the car where you see the roof kind of smashes. That's about it.
I mean, they were giving you at the time the best practical effect they could do.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
It's not a knock on them. It's literally what you had to deal with. So begins with introducing the characters, where you see the contrast between Murtaugh and Riggs, starting with Murtaugh, where you see a family life in suburbia, a dad who is age 50. He's on the force for a very long time. He's very well respected. A regular family celebrating a birthday. That's about it.
The only thing I have to mention is it just me, or why did they have to play the sort of like sexy sax interlude whenever Murtaugh has an interaction with Rianne, his eldest daughter? It always creeped me out.
The sax is throughout the movie, and it's when there's I've noticed this really. You know why? Because of Loaded Weapon. Because of National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon.
Yeah.
Really hammered into that saxophone. I was gonna let's watch.
And
the
also,
original.
what's funny too is Bruce Willis was in Loaded Weapon as John McClane.
Exactly. The thing is, there's a moment every time there's a downtime, like dialogue ends and we're transitioning into the next scene, or transitioning into we're gonna stop speaking and then move here and start speaking. You have the saxophone. It's really subtle.
Well, what's odd about it too, because they were trying to play on the fact that Rianne is she's getting older and she's becoming a woman and everything, but you have to remember that Tracy Wolf was 26 and Danny Glover was only 40 when this was filmed.
I know it's so amazing, right? And you have but you have to, young girls would totally ogle someone like
Riggs. Really bad throughout the movie.
Yeah, Riggs
really bad.
Yeah, I mean, and look at him. I mean, dude's carved out of wood right there, right? I mean, he's definitely not. He's in good shape.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So
was that a Fight Club reference, Culture? Because I thought it was there.
Dude, right on it, man. I love this. Good times.
Right. So we have the dichotomy between the family man, the stable guy, a little bit older, but not too old. He's not up to the point where I'm too old for this shit. I'm on my way to retirement, which is the second one, I think. Mm-hmm. But this is like, the Sarge, he's well respected, well known, and the loose cannon, basically.
Yeah.
So that's our introduction to the show. So to the characters.
Riggs.
The Riggs part comes in almost immediately, where
Oh,
he's
good.
at a drug bust, and like you said, the levity, the humor comes in, and to me, Mel Gibson really fits that role, where
Yes.
he can do a little bit of comedy,
Mhm.
but really nice, like hardcore action. And
What's really funny too is when he does the Three Stooges.
yeah,
Mel Gibson was such a huge Three Stooges fan. He also produced the live action Three Stooges film.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. He really was. It was. Yeah. I
He
remember
loved
that
Three
from way
Stooges.
back when. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's his jam. And you know, it's this particular scene is how you start an action film. Right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you have the opening, the cinematic open, the cold open that gets the audience invested. Then you have, of course, the exposition scene, introducing you to one of the primaries. Then you go to the other exposition scene, introducing you to the other primary, because this is a buddy cop film from the word go, and this is how you do it. And he kind of, I'm sorry, Donner laid a wonderful foundation for many filmmakers from 87 through probably 94 in how to do that. And you saw for a long time that influence, the way Donner put this together. You saw that influence in a lot of other films for the next 5 to 10 years. So, yeah.
And even up to, even if you go like deep into the 2000s, you have basically the Nice Guys with Russell and Ryan Gosling, and you had to like taking that.
Well, there was Cop Out. There were several
Out
buddy
with Bruce
cop
Willis
films.
and Tracy Morgan. There's
which one you're talking about.
The one with
Will Ferrell and Mark
Ferrell.
Wahlberg, and I can't remember the name of it now.
Yes.
Yeah, that one as well.
Yeah.
That's basically the template. And you also had The Last Action Hero, where you had that sort of thing.
It was weird.
Inside amalgamated into an action movie.
A weird film, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that sort of template came from this. Not so much from 48 Hours and Another 48 Hours, because that's also kind of a buddy cop movie, but not both of them are cops.
No.
With this one, you have both of them are on basically the same ground. Both of them are law enforcement, and they're smashed in together to do something else.
Well, because you could think of like the two films that really kind of created and personified that genre for the longest amount of time were actually Lethal Weapon, and for this considered Die Hard as well, because Die Hard at its core was, in a way, it is an action film, but it is also a buddy cop film.
Yeah, with me and names, the sergeant from the TV show.
About Family Matters? Yes.
Yeah, the guy from Family Matters. Yeah. Anyway, another little aspect of this is Riggs's added to Riggs is this scene, which is, if you take it out of this movie, this is a heart-wrenching, dark fucking scene.
This is actually a horror story moment. Honestly, because especially the way it's shot. This is shot like a horror film at the time. The lighting is 100%. The grading with the shadows. This is all structured like a horror shot. This is how you would do a horror film shot.
And I can't really adjust the. It's really hard to adjust everything up to the certain frames, but there's a second and a half where you are placed in Riggs's position as you look down the barrel of the gun.
Yeah, it's whole.
I was gonna say culture. I'm glad you picked up on that, because oddly enough, prior to making Aliens, Ridley Scott was actually offered the opportunity to make this film.
Oh, your camera's off. Never mind. You're okay?
Yeah, no. I suffered a minor interruption. Sorry about that.
No problem. It's fine.
So that the horror element was kind of there inherently, which
it is there.
Glad you picked up on that.
Oh no!
And like I said,
that whole scene in the trailer is that it is. Yeah. So no, that was great. Thank you. Yeah. No. Speaking to that with the horror, like the horror elements. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow. I apologize.
It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. And we have, of course, the meeting where you see a little bit of interaction between the therapist and the captain, where the captain brushes off
because he thinks that he's trying to get just basically
off.
medical leave in order to get his pension early so he can just retire. But it's like, no, Riggs is actually just completely and utterly suicidal. That's just how he is.
He's broken. He's a broken human. He had something terrible happen in his life that he is incapable of dealing with.
Yes.
And
you juxtapose that between that and the conversation with Riggs and I think it was his former partner, where they're talking about the sensitive 80s man. Then he said, "Yeah, I even cried alone in bed last night. What, you were the woman?" He's like, "No, I was alone. Why do you think I was crying?"
Oh man,
dude, you have to watch this.
That was the 80s.
You're gonna see that scene. It's at the very 15-20 minutes at the start, and you're like, "Is this 2022? What the fuck just happened?" He literally talks about how everything gets pussified these days. Nothing is like it used to be. Oh, back then men were real men. Sort of that sort of sentiment in like 5 sentences, and like, oh, where are we?
Where are we?
Well,
it's crazy.
It was LA sensibilities. Let's talk about that, because there were some 80s sensibilities that certainly are reflected in modern society, but I'm not going to comment further. So, but
I know. We like to keep it nice.
I'm keeping it light, dude. Yeah,
I know. No. The thing is, about never mind. Anyway,
let's move on to something more.
The clash between Riggs and Murtaugh and where Murtaugh is like, "Oh, a gun," and he jumps at Riggs, and Riggs is, he's well trained.
Yeah, he's a freaking ninja.
And he drops him easily, puts his leg on his neck, and aims a gun at him, and is like, "Relax, this is your new partner." And Murtaugh's like, "Too old for this shit." Gets up.
Well, as they're driving, they're walking out to the car in the parking lot as well. They're talking about, it was like, "Oh, that's a nice piece you have," talking about his Beretta. And he goes, like, "What do you have?" I think it was a Smith & Wesson 47. He's like, "Oh, yeah, a 6-shooter. Yeah, old men like to use those." And then they're talking about Riggs's martial arts background. And then this is so quintessentially 80s, and not only at the end of the film, which we're going to get to at the very, very end of the rolling credits. I know, Culture, you'll be gone by then, but they actually had a theme song called Lethal Weapon made for the film.
Oh, that's
a titular song. So 80s.
Super 80s, yeah.
And then also, Danny Glover, Murtaugh, has a line where he says, "I suppose we'll have to register you as a lethal weapon."
Yeah, the movie name drop. Yeah, I did the same thing. It was like, oh my God, I forgot they used to do this all the time. The time. All right, we're going to have a little bit of a stop here, a little bit of a change in the show because we're kind of losing culture in about half an hour. So we're going to do our first segment of the night, and it is called Missing Marquee. Right, Missing Marquee for the uninitiated is we take 10 posters, have their text written off, we display them, and we let Culture Casino guess which movie this is. I've primed and ready because I'm good at producing. All right, 10 posters, go.
I don't know. Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Breakfast at Tiffany's, correct.
Oh, crap.
Chat participation
is
most welcome.
I can't even, I have no idea.
All right, chat is moving slow. We've got lots of lurkers today. Yes, so my feelings. This is
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear.
Boo.
Ooh, it's a good
I know
one.
you know this one, Oh My Feelings. I know.
Oh, it's a good one.
I'll punch in a little bit.
I think one of the best live action adaptations of Satan ever.
It's Mephisto.
know
What are you
this
talking
film.
about?
I know
You
this
know the
film.
film. You know the
Oh my
film for sure.
gosh.
And you haven't watched it in a long while.
Decades. Oh, this is gonna bother me. Crap.
DK in the chat is a nope. Oh, my feelings. This is
Legend.
Legend.
Logan.
Logan.
Flip.
Close. Very close. Close to Flip. I know, but I forgot this one. Thank you, DK.
Flip. This is bothering me.
I think this is one of Simon Pegg's biggest misses.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, come
it's
on.
Not,
Run,
it's
Fat
not
Boy,
Tim
Run.
Curry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's Tim Curry. Never mind. It is. Oh, my feelings?
Paul.
Red.
Red.
Oh, shoot.
This one is difficult. This one is difficult. I haven't watched this in a while. I think I've only watched this movie once.
I don't know if I know this one actually.
Ooh, chat.
Oh.
Ding, ding, ding. I mean, can I?
No, I can't pull it up.
Oh, my feelings.
Is this one of The Exorcists?
No, it is not.
Or is this The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
No, close. This is Stigmata.
Stigmata.
Good. I'm gonna go grab the DVD right now and smack my face with it. 40-year-old virgin.
40-year-old virgin.
Rocketeer.
Yes.
And the last one.
The Witches of Eastwick.
The Witches of Eastwick. Correct, sir. Awesome.
So did I only miss two?
Nice.
No, three, because I didn't get Gabe's
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's
no,
like,
but I'm
dude,
like,
it's like, whose line is it anyway? The points really don't matter.
Don't matter.
I love that show, by the way.
I do love that show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it from its
Inception.
UK inception. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
All right.
Americans pervert all the good stuff.
So we get to see
Murtaugh.
we get to see Murtaugh and Riggs kind of interact with a couple of things. First, we go to Murtaugh's friend, the guy who lost the daughter. And Huntsacker, and he kind of asks him a little bit about it, or he tells him a little bit about it. The fact that his daughter was found with cocaine, but it was laced. And I've kind of brushed over the hooker scene. There's a little scene where they get to interact with the hooker. That was
Murtaugh. That was
that was Murtaugh coming into the station.
They did just have, he only had that one line inside, all dressed up and no one to blow. That was the only bit that was just added
really
a little joke
funny.
in there.
Yeah, that was real good.
And then there was that one little side scene where they had the drug dealer going to the general, and then Mr. Joshua doing the test with the lighter. That was right.
Yeah. That's the Gary Busey thing.
It's kind of a setup of Mr. Joshua and how loyal he is to the whole cause.
Loyal and how well trained he is as a merc or as a special forces guy. Kind of it. Literally, that whole scene where they go into that. To talk to the general is just laying foundation on how serious and how crazy they are, basically. But then comes one of the most famous scenes of the movie. The scene that everybody remembers is the fact that the suicidal cop Riggs goes up to talk to a guy who wants to commit
suicide. Do you have any negotiation training? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And what he does, I need to nail that. Come on. No, one, please. There we go. This is one of motion pictures history of like moments in a movie. The moment they jump, they don't like fall. They literally, he cuffs him and he's like, let's go. And he jumps to get the guy down because he just told Murtaugh that, yeah, I'm going to get him down. No worries. Not a problem. And when they go down, Murtaugh's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It was
and he's
amazing.
like, he's down, isn't he? He's down. He's safe. He's not dead.
There is absolutely no way in hell one of them would have not dislocated their shoulder or something. Because they were cuffed together while falling with the impact and the bodies twisting. Yeah, there's absolutely no way they would have not been grievously injured in some way.
Well, I mean, obviously the stunt people were wearing breakaway cuffs, so that's why they held hands on the way down.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, there's the practical aspect of all of that, which is the focus of mine is practical effects. But the fact that they hit the airbag the way they did, and you can watch that whole thing, and it was shot against the score at that point. The background music right there was like perfect. It built the suspense, the tension as they're falling, that I don't know what it is, but this film was perfectly scored. It makes me appreciate films nowadays that are perfectly scored because we don't get them very often.
That's very true.
Well, I managed to watch Batman, and the most of the thing that I enjoyed of is the actual background score. The story, didn't like it so much. It is what it is. Not a bad Batman movie on all accounts to me, like it's a solid 6, but they went with a different way in terms of scoring as to set them aside from, let's say, The Dark Knight or the Nolan trilogy, right? Mm-hmm. So it worked. And in here, like I said at the beginning, the saxophone is placed in various moments where you have to either punctuate a scene or transition a scene where there's no talking and just that hum in the background of that little jazz note of the saxophone.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say too is I agree with you, Coulter, and you too, Meph, because if you actually think of some of the best films in the last 10 years, what are they really known for outside of great acting and directing? Fantastic scores. Most films nowadays depend on what? Their soundtrack, and it's not the score that's in the soundtrack. It's pop songs, or it's music that they've brought in, or they've adapted, or they had someone do a cover of a famous song in order to fit the narrative of the film.
Or to change the... Go ahead.
Watched it this week, a 1.5 minute clip of Taika Waititi explaining Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song in Thor Ragnarok, and how he convinced the producers, why is it so important to put that there? Now, say what you want about Thor Ragnarok, like it, don't care. That moment where you see the Thor with that music, it was like, yeah, I can see where the connection is.
It was sort of apropos. I agree with you on that point.
Yes,
but in most situations,
but to bring
it's forced. That's the issue.
To bring it to enhance the scene where it's a classical whatever Surtur at the start or at the end where he fights Hela, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just punctuating the scene. But yeah, I totally get what you're going for, where the score is comprised not of the score, but of popular songs that enhance the scene where it would have been an action scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Coulter. Go ahead.
I have no idea what I was going to say. Just something to add to that. But, I mean, fine. It comes to the idea that we used to have amazing cinematic scores and songs specifically for films, rather than, as Oh My Feelings has said, you end up with nowadays they just use songs from modern pop culture, and they don't really they don't really punctuate the film well. So, Taika's defense and all of that for using Immigrant Song and the most recent film, of course, I think that we need room for people like John Williams and many other folks that just make incredible sounds, scores and soundtracks and things like that. I mean, I'm sorry, I still pick up the 2-disc set of the original Batman film soundtrack because it was one of the best soundtracks at the time.
Danny Elfman, right?
Yeah, Elfman.
Right. We have, to me, this was the bonding scene between Riggs and Murtaugh more than when he saves him from like certain death, is the fact that Riggs kind of proves himself to be not actually suicidal, but on the verge of suicide. And the most important thing for me that he said was like, I get up every day and the job keeps me alive from like, I'm finding it every day not to put the bullet in my brain.
Now, I am so glad that you mentioned that, Meth, because when they did first screen tests of Danny Glover and Mel Gibson together, this was the scene that they had them do together. And as soon as they did a screen test of this, Donner went, we've got him.
That's awesome. It's one of those things where, like we said many times, and we're going to say it many more times, some of these movies that are special, that are long lasting and you can watch them, a lot of it happened by accident and certain things kind of click together. Both actor or actress or some chemistry was there and it was connected off screen. But when it was brought to like a real take and a real show, you can see why they gel together. And it really doesn't matter which combination. It could be an ensemble or just two people, male, female, or male. It just connects at that moment off screen, but then you bring it to the screen and literally it's like movie magic because we connect to these characters. We love these characters because we can see a moment that is super intense. Literally, he has a gun to his fucking face, loaded up, ready to go. Technically, not like fucking. Never mind.
Well, then
you know what I was gonna say. You know what I was gonna say.
Then right after this, we have Murtaugh. After the confrontation with Riggs, he calls a psychiatrist, and this is the second time he uses the line, "I'm too old for this shit."
I'm aiming for that. I just want that thing with the mobile phone. He has a large mobile phone. Now, if you haven't seen the movie in a while, you probably don't remember this culture.
Oh, I do.
This is the phone.
Yeah, I know. It's a brick, man. I had one of those, man. You had to plug it into the car with your cigarette lighter, which most cars nowadays don't even have sometimes,
Yeah.
And sometimes if you wanted range on it, you had to have an antenna that we'd have to screw into the back of it that would be on top of your car. I mean, these things weren't as readily available back in the day. And this call probably cost him $5 to make because it were
just about. All right. So he gets the call. He literally she has a conversation with him about he's really suicidal and he's not just trying to get his benefits and he should watch out. So of course they go and investigate something with Hunsucker and get into a firefight
what's
at
so
a
funny
Beverly Hills mansion.
I have to say is when they walk into the mansion, no one stops them. By the way, they walk right in and they look over and there's two. I don't know if they were because Amanda was into prostitution and also in pornography, which was something we really didn't discuss much.
It's just too hot.
They were either prostitutes or they were in that porn industry as well. But they're sitting up there, they're cutting up cocaine, and they just see these two guys walk in and they just wave at them like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then I think it was Murtaugh who flashes the badge, and then the other one grabs the other one because she's just standing there still waving like, "Hey," like, no, we have to go. And then shots are fired.
Riggs saves Murtaugh, and what I like about this situation is this type of banter between those two is really something that they kept it and they ran with it throughout the movie and into the other 4, possibly 5. They're going to come up with 5 now, right?
Well,
Is it I should be in the works? I'm not sure I want to see that.
I mean, with Donner's passing, I mean, that kind of put some bumps in the road there, but it's still, at least as far as I know, is still on the board. So,
all right. And the like, Murtaugh's like, have you met anybody that you don't want to shoot? And
that you haven't killed. It's like, well, I haven't killed you yet.
Yeah, I haven't killed you today. It's like, and
that's such a great one.
And they cut it and they move on. They let the joke linger just a little bit with a little bit of saxophone, and they move on.
Yeah,
and it's just fucking perfect, man. I haven't watched it in a while, and those things reminded me why I like Riggs and Murtaugh.
Oh yeah, I mean the
interaction and everything.
Yeah, they were perfect partners. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, just absolutely perfect. Yeah, I can't imagine the movie being as complete as it is without that scene. Again, this all comes down to editing, pacing, the way films are put together. And again, it's another, failing of some of the films that are put out today in the mass market, and it's also, a cultural thing when it comes to the fact that we are now creating movies not just for digestion in a theatrical release. We're creating them for streaming now.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
All right, cool. Because we have very limited time, we're going to move on to our second segment of the night, which is called Screen Fighter.
Oh.
Round 1, fight.
What is Screen Fighter, you say? We take 2 movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. There's no discernible difference between the 2. Both of them are good. Both of them are bad. We just fall on our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with your significant other. We've got 2 movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? A little bit of a cheat there because I didn't want to move these particular 2. Culture, you've seen these 2 before because I'm showing it to you. Blade, Green Mile, go.
Easy answer. Blade's an amazing action horror, a little bit of drama, best character development film early on in comic book representation. So there you go.
All my feelings.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because we actually covered Blade and we went in depth on how there would be no Marvel Cinematic Universe without Blade.
Boom.
Exactly.
1000%.
And for that particular reason only, it's gonna be Blade.
Yeah.
Blade for me too.
And I said the Green Mile is a great film, but
seen it last week. It is fucking incredible. X-Men: Days of Future Past or Celine and Julie Go Boating? No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude, easy mode. The Shining. Are you kidding me?
God, someone who speaks rational thoughts here.
All right, cool. We had a little bit of a problem with this 2 weeks ago. But
really, why?
It wasn't X-Men Days of Future Past. It was something else. Shining for you, Stanley Kubrick.
Kubrick. Dude, Kubrick tortured these actors to get these performances.
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh, the scene, if you ever get a moment to watch how Kubrick shot the scene where Johnny's beating on the door, right? Not Johnny. Jack's beating on the door, and he's shooting it from underneath, and you can see because they were filming, how it was being filmed at the same time. It's just incredible. He tortured these actors. He put them in strange situations, shooting positions, used of a lot of like extreme angles and stuff. It was really well done, and it builds all upon these elements of suspense, the discomfort of the actors, the discomfort of the way things were shot, the discomfort. It builds this thing into what it is, and that's a quality film right there. And Days of Future Past is trash. So
I completely agree. I've watched Days of Future Past 3 weeks ago, and no. I know.
Yes, as a giant Stephen King fan. Again, my mother owns actually every single book. Culture. I'm serious. By Stephen King.
Oh, my feelings
wow.
had
even the Bachman books, everything.
My
She
Feelings
owns
had a
all of them.
3-minute rant last time it came on, and we let him have it, and he still lost. I don't remember which movie he lost to, but he lost. Ben-Hur or Episode 3, Revenge of the Shit.
Huge. You just found a huge problem for me.
All right.
Because so Episode 3, there were only two, in my consideration, two epic scenes in the entire prequel trilogy. Okay. Obviously, the Qui-Gon and Darth Maul engagement with a young Obi-Wan. That Duel of Fates playing in the background. That cinematic set is incredible all the way through that entire scene. The scene structure is perfect. Everything about it. That if there was more movie like that in that movie, it would have been.
It would have been incredible. Yeah.
Right. And there just wasn't. So this, of course, is the scene between the two friends, the Padawan and the becoming Master Jedi Kenobi, on Mustafar. Right, that particular scene, that engagement between those two, the performance between those two, the lightsaber battle itself, of course, those elements are fantastic. But you can't beat the epic Ben-Hur, the original Ben-Hur film with Charleston Heston. You can't beat. It had cinematic moments. People were so dedicated and involved in this film. People died making it.
People died. Also, didn't 10 or 15 horses die during
the chariot race itself? Yeah. I think one person was critically injured, and one person died, and 3 or 4 horses died.
Yeah. There in not just that. I mean, this was done in a way that there was so many different scenes you couldn't do. You had to do it all practically, which made it incredibly dangerous. And it was so well done. And for the time, even now, that this is one of the most epic films ever made. The remake doesn't even hold a candle.
I agree. 20 minutes of the remake, and I was done.
I hit time out on most remakes nowadays, man. It's like I get into them and I go like, and some of them are trying to go shot for shot. They just can't. So for me, it's Ben-Hur, by just the sheer epicness of it, the voluminous content that it provides, and the ground breaking and ground changing Hollywood era. This film in '59 led into the films of the '60s, which started to employ more of this grandiose storytelling.
My feelings.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And
also you picked like that is probably the worst poster, because that is so emblematic of what the first trilogy was. A joke.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy? Come on.
Easily.
I'm an OG guy. I will always be an OG guy. I'm a despecialized guy.
Yes.
Do not touch my OG.
No.
Fuck you.
Yeah, very much. Yes.
A Bridge Too Far or Pulp Fiction? Easy for My Feelings. I'm going to answer for him. It's Pulp Fiction. Talk about posters, by the way.
Yes, they're both the Japanese posters.
Yes. Any change? Or are we in agreement?
Dude, it's definitely Pulp Fiction.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Excellent. Stopper. We'll do this one as last, and we'll let you go, Culture.
Yeah, I have to go. I hate having to go.
Or Platoon.
Oh God. Come on.
Oliver Stone.
It's Platoon.
Yeah. Or Stallone.
I
don't know.
Come on. Think about the cast around Platoon. Think about the performances. Think about the direction. Think about this. Do you realize to get the practical effects shot that they got, they have to actually go and blow stuff up?
Shit up. Yeah.
It was literally Tropic Thunder level of blow shit up.
Yeah, and
literally
it was blowing stuff up. It was like, we're gonna just blow up the jungle.
Yeah, we're gonna blow up the jungle. It is literally Charlie Sheen, Charlie Sheen film debut. It was Johnny Depp. It was Matt, not Matt Berenger. What's his Berenger? Anyway, Berenger. It was William Dafoe. It was Billy Zane in this one too? Probably. I don't know. Throw throw a heartthrob of whatever 80s and 90s, he was probably in it. No, seriously. A
And
lot
it
of
was-
people's careers started in this one.
Here,
Not Johnny Depp's, but he
No,
was
no,
like
but-
he had a like teeny tiny thing in it as well.
But there was
Yeah,
so-
definitely Platoon. Definitely.
so many performances. I would like to say that wow, if I get to pick, it's Grosse Point Blank before
Blank,
even.
yeah.
You don't have to. Literally, I'm Grosse
Yeah,
Point Blank.
Grosse Point Blank is it's my second. No, it's my third favorite Cusack film.
It's the second for me, but yes. Yeah, he's the his performance in that. Mimi Driver was so great in that film.
Mm-hmm.
She was better in Grosse Point Blank than she was in Good Will Hunting.
Oh, easily.
Yeah,
easily a better performance.
Easily.
Yeah. Okay, I got to run.
Right.
Thank you so much. This was a great
No
privilege.
worries, man. Culture.
I will love coming back if I get
Yeah,
an.
no, you're welcome. Yeah.
Toxic has the link for the movies that we have from here until February.
Oh,
Just
next
pick
year.
a time, pick a place, and I'll send out. I'll send out emails to
Shoot me feelers.
I'll send
either-
an email to Tom and maybe Andre, and we'll see if we can get things together.
If you score Tom and Andre together, it'd be hard to get Andre.
Not together. Not together.
Yeah.
Like we prefer to have one guest at a time.
Well,
because because of just what we did, it's
Yeah.
worth having three people that rather than
Indeed.
it's an
Indeed.
odd number. It's easy to have two against one. That's
Indeed.
that's
All
the
right.
only thing.
Love you guys. This is a
All right,
wonderful show. A great format.
Take care. Great to have you.
Great
Yeah.
privilege. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you,
Enjoy.
Culture. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye. Oh, wait.
Awesome, guys. There we go. Awesome. We continue on with the show. Sadly, Culture had to leave because he does have a thing. I'm gonna flash his stuff at the end of the show. And of course, everything that he's on, he's going to be in the description down below. By the way, this is a great time to stop. Like this video. If you're watching right now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and above all else, share this around on Twitter, on whatever. It really helps us grow.
Shameless plug.
It's definitely helping my phoner grow like a motherfucker. Yeah.
All right.
Just do this. Yeah. You know me. I'm a whore for media. Leanne. We discussed this, but that look.
Rianne, not Leanne. It's Rianne.
Rianne, sorry. I haven't had just enough coffee. Right?
I will say, also, this is the second inference of how terrible Mrs. Murdoch's cooking is.
Yes.
Because he walks, Murtaugh walks in, opens up the oven, looks like, oh, it's a brown lump thing. Like it's a roast.
It made me laugh hard. And I literally watched this at work, and I got looks. I'm not joking.
So they're having the typical family dinner. The kids are doing they do the little beatbox thing, and Rianne is just making moon eyes.
Yeah, and it
Riggs.
continues on when they go to work on the boat, which is, dude, I don't remember when it came in, but this is the first time that the boat kind of thing happened in any movie that I remember. And from there on in, every time the guy had to like go and work on his boat came in different movies, TV shows, all that stuff. That's where I'm not sure it's the first time, but it's the first time I remember where he bought a boat so he can get out of the house literally in his driveway to work on the boat that he does know nothing about. It's fucking awesome, man. Let me have it. Shamrock. That's the name of the boat.
Well, because they're out there, and then Riggs is mentioning like he is questioning the resolution of the case, where the Murtaugh think it's cut and dry. Oh, it was kind of her sugar daddy or her pimp or whatever, and we got him. He's dead. Case closed. And Riggs is not so certain of it.
Yeah, and it kind of activates Murtaugh a little bit because he goes back and he literally watches the
The tape.
porno of the dog. It's real soft shit. It's really soft.
It was it. Yeah, but hold on. What's her name? It was Amanda. I write down all the actors' names too. By the way, I don't know if you
Mm.
ever knew that.
She hasn't done anything risque since then. Trust me, I had to research that. Don't ask me why.
Wow.
Don't ask me why. I'm a degenerate.
You are a degenerate.
I am a degenerate. She's she hasn't done a lot of stuff.
Jackie Swanson. Jackie Swanson.
She hasn't done a lot of stuff.
Well, the only scenes that she's in this film, she's topless, from her suicide
Twice.
to to the video. Yes,
And
kudos to her, I guess. But anyway,
I love the fact that Murtaugh, he watches the thing, then he watches the yearbook.
he looks at the yearbook,
and he falls
but
asleep.
he can see also the sister.
Yeah.
And but what's also funny too is when Riggs is leaving, they have that last little jab at Mrs. Murtaugh's cooking. Like, did you really like my wife's cooking? And Riggs was like, no.
No. But that's the whole thing. That's the bonding thing, because Murtaugh knows that the cooking is not that good.
Yeah.
And Riggs, when he's like, did you love my wife's cooking? He's like, yeah, she cooks well. But when he tells the truth, you see a little bit of a smirk on Riggs and a smirk back from Murtaugh. And
Yeah.
it's that
bonding.
bonding moment where they literally become partners. And
you can tell too in the following scene where it's Riggs that wakes him up, where you can tell that Riggs has actually been up all night. He's been chasing this in his brain, trying to figure out what's going on.
And he gets up and it's like, what time is it? I don't know, morning.
No, he goes like, I don't know, it's light outside.
It's light outside. By the way, I was waiting for the bathroom scene and the explosion. I totally forgot that's from Lethal Weapon
2. Yeah.
It's Lethal Weapon 2. See, I've watched a lot of Loaded Weapon.
And what's really funny,
Uh-huh.
funny as well is the fact that on the fridge in the Murtaugh house is a bumper sticker that actually says "Stop Apartheid Now," and the villain from number 2 is from South Africa. Nice little play there, Jeffrey Baum.
Talk about one of the most famous scenes that I remember when I watched this for the first time, very young, I might add, is the scene where they shoot. And it's
okay. Again, more ribbing on Mrs. Murtaugh's cooking because she's like because he gives them the entire theory, and then Murtaugh says, "Oh well, that's thin." He goes, like, "Thin's my middle name."
Is my wife's cooking.
Yeah. No, because I can see that with your wife's cooking.
Yeah.
And Murtaugh says, "Well, if you keep talking like that, you're not going to be welcome to Christmas dinner." And Rick says, "Oh, my luck just keeps getting better and better."
Better and better. Like,
this poor woman, she must be just god awful.
Dude, remember her timeline. At the end, she becomes like this author that writes this Daniel Steele type books.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember? And they become really rich because of it.
Oh god,
so
I forgot all about that.
She gets to be on top at the end, dude. But this is like full on dick measuring contest where it's look at this, not bad for an old man. And I don't know if I can catch this one. Oh, you know what? I'll have to do this because copyright.
Because Murtaugh hits center mass on all of his. Like, not too bad for an old man, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
no, he hits directly.
He just hits
directly into the thing. And then Riggs takes it further away. He's like looking at Murtaugh and he's like, and then he shoots. Wait, I need to put this off. He shoots and he puts a smiley face on it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And you get to see Danny Glover's face all confused when they interact about the Christmas dinner. And Riggs walks away and he's like, what the fuck just happened? But we get an answer to what just happened almost immediately. Almost immediately, because they go and investigate that hooker that was at the start. Really, like, with the blow me thing, right?
Yeah.
So they go in and chase that lead.
And the little kids outside,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're gonna bust her. You're gonna bust her. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Let me do this. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? Might as well. So they approach the house and the house explodes.
Now, and also, this is a very, very big sign of the times thing too, where they mention during the gun, the range kind of like shoot off thing, the dick measuring contest.
Yeah.
Where he goes, well, yeah, what if the other person that was laying there with her was the other prostitute? What does Riggs say? Disgusting, but I'll bite.
Yeah, that's right.
Then in this scene, when the house blows up and Riggs's coat is on fire, Murtaugh goes to grab him, try to put out the flame. What does Riggs say to him? What are you, some kind of F word?
Yes.
Yeah, but this is so 80s. It's so 80s.
But the thing is, they use the F word, the naughty F word, not as a gay slur, as a, you're up. Like they used to use the word, another F word, fairy.
Yes, yeah.
Twinkle toes. They used it as a rib, dude. I like you. I don't appreciate that word at all, but I don't mind it.
It was just a sign of the time.
It didn't come off as a fucking slur. It came off as what are you, a fucking whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, after they take the body out and they go talk to the kid kind of points to Riggs's tattoo, right?
Yeah. Well, and they mentioned the basis of the hair. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about the questioning was a little bit off. It was a little bit weird.
It does seem like this is one of the scenes that Jeffrey Baum added in, because it definitely was not in Shane Black's original. Because Shane Black, the original script had no humor in it. It was a very serious, supposed to be very grim, very dark action film.
Yeah, but this is where it literally Riggs finds that little trigger before they talk to the kid. He finds that little trigger and he says, well, this is not,
it's like professional demolition work,
professional mercenary shit. And then they go talk to the kid and the kid points to Riggs's tattoo. And we get a little bit of backstory about how come Riggs knows what he knows about that little trigger, forces, right?
Yeah.
So it gives a little bit of explanation without giving you the explanation, right?
Correct, yeah.
He says, well, it's special forces tattoo, only special people. And then you goes, oh, this is why Riggs is good with hand-to-hand combat, good with guns, knows his shit because he was in special forces. He has that tattoo, right?
Well, he also mentions that he has that little side lapse where he starts telling a story where it's how he killed someone out, I think it was 3.5 miles.
In Laos or something.
Yeah.
So,
but then they have that realization that, oh no, Hunsaker was actually part of it.
Yeah.
So he goes to,
hold. I'm still here. Go on.
So
I have something in my eye.
I figured. Well, they kind of realize that maybe Hunsaker is actually really involved in it. So it was Murtaugh goes to Hunsaker, and Hunsaker just basically gives up everything from the get-go. We've been smuggling heroin for 20 years, about 13, 14 years.
They basically,
at the end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, they basically take a real life story, because there is a real story about CIA. The movie with I think it's Tom Cruise, about him doing no, that's not the guy. There was a story, I'm not sure, they made a movie out of this about the guy who did the shipment
Yep.
of like coffins of American soldiers that had heroin
What in it?
inside.
Mhm.
Came in from either Cambodia or like Indochina or whatever it's called. From Vietnam, from Laos, from Cambodia, from Thailand, all the poppy fields there, taken by either ex-CIA guys who served there and saw the opportunity, or actual CIA, depending on whatever conspiracy theory you want to think about. There were real people that were connected in some way to the CIA that transferred real heroin into the United States. So what they did in Lethal Weapon is basically piggyback on a real story
Correct.
that at the time was only like rumors, and put it into a real type situation. So you have the general and you have the mercenaries, and sort of they found a little bit of a substitute to make the story work. But knowing what we know now, it makes it was like, oh, I see what you did there. It's a nice little twist. It still works within the confines of this movie. Still works very well.
Yep.
And of course, Hunsaker immediately gets killed with a fucking milk jug.
No, it's eggnog. Which is
eggnog.
important because everyone forgets that technically this is happening during fucking Christmas. Why? Why?
Like Die Hard, this is a Christmas movie. By the way, it came out.
No, this is actually not. This is not a. I do not consider.
No,
this
it's
a Christmas
not
movie.
because it came out July, right?
Yes. Well, and also because Die Hard had its entire premise built around the Christmas party. There were Christmas decorations everywhere. This has just subtle notes of it. In fact, you would have no idea that this was actually during Christmas if it didn't start with Jingle Bell Rock at the beginning. The lights outside of the Murtaugh's home.
My connection fucking jumped on me.
Yeah, the lights that were that Hollywood City had to. Hollywood City actually had to put up lights during July when this film was actually filmed. By the way,
okay, I'm here. I'm still here.
The city actually had to put up Christmas lights in the middle of July for exposition shots.
Your camera is dead or frozen to me. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're fine. That's on you, buddy.
Okay.
Then also the lights outside of that, and then the eggnog. Besides that, you would not know that took place during Christmas whatsoever. And the mention of Christmas dinner. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, Die Hard, Christmas is fucking everywhere.
Oh,
it's a Christmas party. There's Christmas themed stuff all over. And shot all over, and it's mentioned how many times that we can't shut off the power because this is Christmas.
Yeah,
we can't do this because it's Christmas. No, you have no idea this actually was a Christmas film. But anyway, so Hunsaker just gets randomly shot by a helicopter outside of the window, which you would think that's technically over an urban zone. So someone would have been notified that, hey, someone's shooting outside of a fucking building.
I don't know if you know it when the helicopter moves away and Riggs keeps shooting at it with a gun. You would think a weapons expert and
would
a
realize
marksman
this is not going to work.
This is way too far for a fucking pistol. Right? But it's a fun shot, I guess.
Suspension of disbelief, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, there's that, and then there are multiple situations too where it's like, don't you need a license to pilot a helicopter legally?
Yeah, but you had the pilot piloting it and the guy shooting from it. It's a different guy.
Well, I know, but still, just given the circumstances where it's like, you could trace this all back way too easily. Do you think they would be a lot smarter than that?
Yeah. No.
Especially since they had, all the subterfuge at the beginning where they basically, they put the drain cleaner in Amanda's barbiturates. Yes. So it was going to kill her regardless, whether or not she killed herself or not. You think they would have done that to Hunsaker? Where they would,
I think by that point, remember, the shipment is coming. They needed Hunsaker to set everything up
Mhm.
in terms of the money laundering, the bank
Yeah.
type stuff. And when everything was set up, everything was in motion, getting into gear. Plus, after they killed him, before Riggs gets shot, we have like the people from the chopper say talk to the general, and he's like, it's time to turn up the heat. So everything was going into like faster and faster motion, where they wanted to complete everything, and they
That's
wanted
true.
the coast clear, the cops off their back. Everything was already set up by the bank, clear out all the witnesses, everything. And they already know they're on their tail by this point. So killing him openly, I don't know. It doesn't really fit with the narrative of staying down low and everything. But for the sake of the movie, I guess it works. It's sort of weird. We do this for every single movie. We kind of get into the story, really enjoy it, but when we look at it critically, yeah,
It's
some of these story
this doesn't
beats
make fucking
are a
sense.
little bit off.
Trust me.
Off.
It's gonna get there at the final scene where I'm gonna have all kinds of bones to pick with that.
So we get Joshua shooting at Riggs. Riggs gets shot, blown into, by the way, another Christmas reference.
Christmas sale, yeah.
Whatever. Like Murtaugh thinks he's dead. He opens up the thing and, oh, he's got the vest. And later on, like in the second one, you had the vest. The third one, Rene Rousseau had the vest as well. So it's these themes that were planned in terms of story for just this movie came up later when they wrote 2, 3, and 4. I think in 4, Chris Rock had the vest. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it in a long.
I
all
think
of them
so.
I haven't seen in a long
I
while.
think I only saw 4 once, and I was
Really?
just I was
With Uncle Benny.
Yeah.
I know why. I've seen it.
Everybody knows why.
I've seen it more than once. So
But okay.
when they get back home from the attack,
but Riggs brings up a good point to Murtaugh where he goes, no. You have to realize we have the advantage now.
Yeah, they think.
What are you
I'm
talking
dead.
about? They think I'm dead.
And when they get back home, Murtaugh gets the call that Rianne got kidnapped.
Yeah.
To lean on him, and of course, and they sit around at his living room and Murtaugh's living room, and again you get the Christmas theme where you didn't really feel it until the Hunsaker, right? And from Hunsaker is like a lot of Christmas references, basically, or more frequent, I would say. And they say, and it's like, oh, they think I'm dead, so we can ambush them. So you go and meet them, and we'll do like an ambush. And for some reason, yeah,
And they have the showdown in the desert. And the first thing that I thought of, which also, by the way, why would you fly a helicopter out in the desert? Why?
I don't know.
It was so superfluous, and it made no fucking sense whatsoever. And by the way, so many of them are dead. Did all of them have the capability to fly the helicopter? Because didn't the helicopter pilot get shot by Murtaugh?
I don't remember.
I thought he did. So it's like, did they just like, fuck it, YOLO? We're leaving the helicopter out in the middle of the fucking desert. Who gives a shit?
Riggs shot a lot of drivers. I'm not sure he shot the helicopter guy.
But anyway, what I was thinking of, the first thing I thought of was the scene in Casino.
Yes.
Where Joe Pesci's talking about like, well, yeah, before you know it, if it takes you too much time to bury the body out in the desert, somebody comes out to find you out there digging. Now you gotta dig another fucking hole.
Exactly. The thing with this, I think nobody, except for military people, nobody knew what grenades actually do. If If Murtaugh would have released it there, Murtaugh would be dead. Maybe Joshua, maybe the guy next to Joshua.
I would say
The
like
rest
they don't.
of the guys, most likely, were not going to get hurt.
It's an explosion with but the thing that
It's
kills
mostly
you is
shrapnel.
The shrapnel. Yeah,
Yes, it's
and
mostly
it's like
shrapnel.
yeah, and also it doesn't have like 100-yard range either.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, it's very devastating if you throw it into like a trench with 5 people. It doesn't do like a massive explosion.
Yeah.
It does an explosion. It doesn't do a massive explosion.
Had he like been able to throw it in that cluster of people there, then yeah
it would do
if he
damage.
would get shot and then just drop it because he died.
Yeah. If Joshua would have shot him basically in the head and he would have let go and
most
run
of them
and run
for cover. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the cars there.
Yeah.
Even the helicopter would have been seriously damaged.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I guess it works.
It's 80s logic. It's 80s action movie logic.
I do love the fact that when Rianne kind of escapes, the helicopter literally pushes her away. Practically, that means the helicopter stunt guy was fucking amazing.
On point, yeah.
And the limo driver, both of them were fucking on point. By the way, I thought for a second they may have done it on the Utah salt flats, but when you see this shot, I think it's Mojave. You would think somewhere in California, right? Mojave, where you have like long, kind of straight patches of nothingness and a little bit of mountains all around. I'm not sure. I haven't dived deep into where exactly this was shot, but definitely not Utah. Torture scene?
Well, no, that I was going to say the only other thing that's important about that is it shows again Riggs's proficiency at firearms, how he was able to take out so many from far away, and he's about to kill Joshua, but the general somehow sneaks up on him.
Yeah, that I didn't understand. Why they didn't send a regular merc guy wouldn't have been enough.
It would have made more sense if they would have swapped places where the general was where Joshua
the general was conducting the thing, and Joshua would have snuck up on him. Yeah, it would have made more sense.
Way more sense. Yeah,
I think it's all about not due to the script, but how much the guy who played the general got paid, as opposed to Gary Busey, who was supposedly he was the henchman, not the main guy, but he became the main guy because of how the story kind of rolls up to the end, where Riggs had to take care of Joshua, because they're mostly on a same plane of power, I would say. So you would think they're both special forces.
Special forces, fucking badass.
And Murtaugh was left with the general, where generally speaking, he just shot at him through the car, because Murtaugh is a pretty good shot just with a 6-shooter, not like Riggs. So they're both pretty good shots, obviously. And they set that up in that little dick contest that they had, right? I love the setup and payoff in this because it's very subtle, super subtle about, we have a scene and it's not obviously setting up, but it does tell you a little bit about the characters, setting up the power levels or the how much I can get to at the end of it. Mainly this, which is fucked up beyond all recognition.
Which, you know,
major foobar.
What's really funny too is there are so many analogs and just similar things again between Lethal Weapon and Die Hard, as we've gone over constantly. The torturer in this film was in fucking Die Hard.
He was. By the way,
he was the guy who broke open the candy case.
The candy. Yeah, exactly.
Candy bars.
Do you know where he was also in?
What's that?
Another 86 movie. He was one of the people. I don't remember the name of the clan. The guys in red.
Oh yeah, Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China, and he is front and center. Remember when they try to escape?
That's right.
And, it's like, and Jack opens. It's like, I think we can escape. Opens. That's the guy who's front and center.
Then he goes like, no.
I don't think we can get out of this place. Not through here. I think we're trapped. So that's the same guy. And he's been in a lot of these movies where it's action movie and you need like a henchman.
Yeah.
A lot of these. Made a career out of these. So Riggs waits for Joshua to get over. He kills that guy. He like literally catches him with his feet and twists his neck.
Well, the only thing that's important about that is they gave him electroshock, and then they're like, yeah, by the way, nobody would have stood up. He has no idea what's going on whatsoever. Yeah. Like, oh well, then kill him.
Yeah.
But Riggs gets out of it.
Riggs is out of it and frees Murtaugh and Rianne. The only thing is this: is she 16?
No.
Supposedly, she's of age,
she's
right?
Supposed to be 16. She's 26. The actor Tracy Wolf was 26.
Really?
Yeah.
She looks really young for her age.
Yeah, she does. She does. She does.
I was genuinely uncomfortable. Like, you know me, I don't mind tits in movies, obviously, but I didn't know. It's so hard for me. It's like she portrays 16. She looks 16. I'm 43. I feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's not nudity. It's not. I feel so weird, man. She's 26. Fine. I can ogle her all day.
You don't have to like flip it like that, buddy.
No. Obviously, I still feel fucking weird looking at her.
Well, what's funny too is right before Riggs comes in, one of the henchmen says, "There are no more heroes," and then here comes Riggs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
I love that. So they chase them off. They follow them outside. Riggs kind of gets a fucking gun out of nowhere
because they go through the entire club because he shoots the guy that was above, the blonde guy.
Yeah,
which is so funny too is again. Call back to Die Hard, someone hanging.
Well, I guess it's weird how things happen, right? It's not Deep Impact Armageddon situation.
No. There are just a lot of similarities.
You would think it's down to action movie tropes, isn't it?
Yeah, but to be fair, at this point in time, these were the films that were defining the tropes.
Well,
think about it.
I'll give you that. Fine. I admit it. So they chase everybody off, and Murtaugh gets the kill, and I love this scene.
So what's so funny too is
beautiful.
they just have Mel Gibson shirtless with a what is that? Does he have
some sort of an assault rifle?
It looks like, but he's just running down the street shirtless, barefoot, just like a fucking lunatic.
Hey, Murtaugh's shirtless too, running with a fucking 6-shooter, running. I don't know where.
Yeah, but he's still consistently trying to tell people like, no, we're the police. We're the police. Riggs is just like, fuck it.
Hey, it's part of the charm.
Yes.
Part of the charm. And Murtaugh shoots
the driver
and doesn't really hit the general, right?
No.
I don't remember if he hits the general, but he hits the driver for sure.
So the car goes out of control and goes into the street.
Out of control,
the car
and
gets
hits
hit
the
by
bus.
the bus.
And of course, you talked about this at the beginning about the bus rolling down the Hollywood Hills and the Hollywood sign and spraying a bunch of snow. So what they did here is the bus hits the car and, oh, what do you know? It's snowing.
Yeah.
That reminded me of this.
Yeah.
And I got this shot because I loved it because it really spreads throughout the streets.
I really wish that one film would do that ending though, because just even a spoof film, a spoof film. Oh, that's a perfect ending.
It turning, and everything get covered with a bunch of fucking cocaine.
Yeah.
Oh, at Christmas, fuck yeah.
Who says it doesn't snow in LA?
You can have all the puns if you want.
Yes.
But Riggs and Murtaugh kind of find out that Joshua got away, or Riggs knows Joshua got away. And when they meet together, it's like, oh, Joshua knows where I live.
Well, but also too, how Joshua, and I have to give it to the actors that played this line, to how he pulls up to this guy's car. He was like, "Nice Audi. Mind if I take it for a test drive?"
Yeah.
This movie is so fucking 80s, and I love it.
Yeah, it's very 80s. So they meet Joshua at the house. He threatens the family with some sort of an M16 or something. They get disarmed. They win, and they take him into custody. But Joshua,
what does Riggs say to what?
Oh,
what do you want to do? You want to take on the champ, or you want to fight for the belt, or something like that?
Yeah. They catch him, and it's like, oh, do you want to? Yeah, you want to take the reins, or you want to beat the champ, or something like that? And it's like, move away. It's just between us two. And Murtaugh is like moving away the cops.
And this is where again you have to take away that suspension of disbelief, because I will tell you flat out, if this is the real LAPD, he would have been shot to shit.
Oh,
dead.
Dude, this is 87.
Dead.
He would have been
dead. And he already killed deadly, just 2 officers outside the building, not to mention all of the havoc he's caused and the other people that he's killed. Yeah, he's dead. Joshua is dead.
Yeah.
not fucking like Bloodsport, not Kumite.
Yeah, no. It was a dead.
But Murtaugh pushes him back, going, "This is between them. He's killed 2 officers tonight.
I got this. Even Riggs, when he got him at almost a chokehold, is like, no, back off.
Yeah.
He yells at the cops because they really want to get into this. It's like, no, back off.
No, it wasn't the cops. It was Murtaugh going, "Hey, let me get in." And Riggs said, "No, back off."
And of course, Riggs gets Joshua in I think it's a leg triangle. I don't know the correct term, but it seems to me
he nearly got him into an arm bar, and then he put it into
he nearly got him into an arm bar, and he turns it into an arm triangle. I don't know. Guys in the chat, please. I know you're lurking, but we need your help.
Yeah.
What is this hold? Like, I've been watching a fuck ton of MMA in the last 3 years. I don't remember what this is called. This is not a Darce choke. This is a leg triangle armbar thingy. Okay? Maybe. Anyway,
that's the technical
doesn't
term,
choke him.
By the way.
He makes him tap. He just makes him tap. That's it.
Well, then Murtaugh, by the way, is screaming, break his neck. It's like,
yeah, that won't break his neck.
Cops all around you. I guess that this is before they had body cams, so I guess you can get away with this kind of shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, LA 87? Yeah. Fuck yeah. Anyway, they take him into custody. As they get the handcuffs on, he grabs a gun off one of the officers, but of course Murtaugh and Riggs are on it. Riggs pulls Murtaugh's gun, and Murtaugh has the Beretta.
Yeah, it wasn't that it was Riggs that got the center mass shot, and Murtaugh got the headshot, right?
No, because they literally have the shot where you look at them shooting into the camera, and then Gary Busey falls over.
Okay,
Not even sure he had a headshot, actually.
I was thinking that
I can try and get.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I thought that they were going to try to do a play on that, where oh no, Murtaugh is actually really the better shot.
No, I guess I'll have it play in the back.
It doesn't matter. No, I thought that was kind of that would be a fun juxtaposition at the very end of the film, but
it would have been. I'm just
looking too much into it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not sure it's super important.
No, it's really not. That would just be like a more kind of an Easter egg thing within this film, but it doesn't matter. So anyway,
hold.
Mm-hmm.
Again, seen it twice. No, actually, Riggs does have the Beretta, and Murtaugh has the 6-shooter.
Okay.
I thought it was reversed. I really thought it was reversed. But yeah, there, and of course, I can't really play it, but I'm gonna. Come on, thank you. He gets shot twice in the chest.
Okay. So they both hit center mass. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
And of course, it kind of ends with Riggs coming to term with his wife's death. He visits her grave. He lays down the thing, and he kind of tells her about the life. And it's his moving on bit, moving away from suicide, basically.
Well, then the big symbology at the end where he goes to Murtaugh's house for Christmas, and he's like, Rhiann opens the door, and well, the door, it's a piece of plywood that they had to put up.
It's a piece of plywood because they went. Riggs and Murtaugh.
They drove the car through the house.
And that's the end of the movie.
Well, no, but he gives her the bullet and says, "This is for your dad. Trust me, he'll know what it means." It was the hollow point, because remember before he said, "No, I'm saving this one bullet specifically. I know it's a hollow point because I know I'm sure it'll do the job."
Yeah.
And then
and
also there's another jab at Mrs. Murtaugh's cooking.
Another one, but before everything ends, before they go into the house, as Riggs is like, "Oh, I think she likes me," and Murtaugh's like, "Oh, I think she likes me. Maybe I'll take her out or something." And Murtaugh's like, "Over my dead body."
Yep.
And they go in the house and eat.
Well, then he has Murtaugh says before that too. He's like, "Do you want to come in and have some of this terrible Christmas turkey?"
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Found it. Oh, I think your daughter likes me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to kill you.
Would you
well, like to come in?
And as they're about to go into, we didn't mention the dog before, but we can mention it now. Apparently,
we didn't mention it. He was at the before even the suicide scene, right?
Yep. When they were doing just the setups,
he's on the beach and he goes into the trailer, and you get to see Mel Gibson ass.
Yes,
not for me.
Which I'm sure. Ladies in the '80s were like, "Ooh."
hey, you gotta see every action movie. Every action movie had to have the romantic parts, and or the main guy, half naked or close to being naked, so that women would take their husbands. Well, first of all,
So
First
the
wave,
husbands could take the wives, and the
First
wives would be
waves,
okay. Yeah.
no. First wave is the husband taking the wife or girlfriend, whatever, and then the wife calls the other wife or her girlfriend. Oh, you have to go see this with your fucking husband, boyfriend, or whatever. You get to see Mel Gibson's ass. Cut to, oh, I don't have to convince you that much. You already know from your girlfriend that you're going to have eye candy. Let's go and watch this.
Yeah. Well, then, but I was just going to say for the dog bit, he, as they're walking back in, he goes, "Hey, do you mind if I bring someone with me?"
Like a friend. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he whistles and the dog pops out and they run to the house. And as soon as they run to the house too, you hear clamoring chatter as if something went terribly wrong from the get-go. And it's like, yep, that's Riggs. And then you get the worst song ever fucking written.
I admit it. As soon as they finished up with the whole dog and cat scene, I turned this off.
Oh my, no. I sat through and listened to that son of a bitch.
Oh no.
Oh my God. That song is god awful.
All right, cool. And
there's a reason why they stopped doing this.
Oh, I know.
Eponymous songs.
And of course, it comes to the end and we haven't finished the podcast yet. The thing I like about this, first of all, plenty of tropes that from this movie on were in the entire Lethal Weapon franchise.
Mm-hmm.
References, callbacks, everything was there. It kind of made this franchise into this whole like tiny little universe, I would say. Not an MCU thing, but a tiny little universe where you have reoccurring characters or side characters that came back and stayed with us. Leo Getz later on, and the captain. The captain was not really a massive influence in this. By the way, I thought the whole dislocating shoulder was in this one. That started in this one. It literally, a lot of tropes kind of morphed in the second one. The second was much more tropey, where they took everything that was good in this one and made it like dialed up to even more of an 11, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like the directing style in this. Like, you could tell it's like, I don't know if Donner is really known for really snappy cuts or really snappy scenes. So you have set pieces of scenes and the action in them happen really fast. Either it's talking plus action or just action. Everything is like smooth paced and absolutely fast. It says an hour 49. It's hour 49 plus credits plus start credits. So it's about an hour 40. It goes by tremendously fast.
It's a very fast clip. Yeah.
And a lot of there has to be a lot of like big exposition dumps where you have a lot of information really, really fast due to Murtaugh talking to Huntsacker or Murtaugh talking to Riggs and getting the information about the characters or about the story really fast. It makes for a very enjoyable, just sit down popcorn movie as well.
Oh yeah.
Which is very important because at the end of the day, you want people to have fun. And in this one, you have dark subject matter with the suicide.
Yeah.
A lot of levity, a lot of cool action set pieces. Some of them are ridiculous, but it's the 80s. It's like when it comes to the 90s are much more like blowout action, but very, very realistic, practical, but also very realistic. In the 80s, there's a lot of over the top, not of explosions too much. Well, some of them are, but not too much exploding Michael Bay shit, but more of cars being flown around and people jumping off buildings and all that stuff. So really crazy shit.
Well, and see,
But
that's what's funny too, is to that point too, Matt, right there, because you get that from the 80s into the 90s, and then to the early aughts, it went all to CGI.
oh
Because
yeah,
remember the dawn of CGI, where everything had to be infused with CGI in some way, shape, or form.
yeah,
And
yeah.
now
And
it's
then
starting to take that turn back, where they want to go back to more practical effects. Which I think they should, because I think practical always works better.
you couldn't find a bigger supporter for more practical. Like,
Yeah.
go more location. I know it's hard because you want to film in LA or in New York or in whatever town. Just pick a different city. You look, dude, you can literally take over a quarter of Detroit and you could film there easily. It's the fact that they don't wanna.
Well, I mean, just like this is kind of a bad example because it's a bad film, but the set pieces work so well. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was put on Netflix was shot in fucking Bulgaria. They built the town, and it
Yeah.
looks like it looks like deep South Texas, like in the middle of fucking bumfuck nowhere Texas. It looks like that. You know why? Because set designers are that goddamn good.
Yeah. Like I said, there are plenty of places that you can shoot and not does you can make Detroit into LA. They made RoboCop in whatever. It wasn't LA. Certainly it wasn't Detroit, because back then it was more costly and harder to actually film in
Film
Detroit.
off,
So they
yeah.
picked a different fucking city. You can go to Cleveland, Cincinnati, somewhere. Like, you don't have to give. Oh, we're in LA, so you have the LA Tower from Independence Day that they blew up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it Century City? I don't remember the name of the place, but you know that tower. So you don't have to have a wide shot of Los Angeles, or if you want it, you can have a wide shot, but don't have the characters there, and then film the inside streets in Cincinnati, in whatever. Like, pick an industrial town that is not doing so well these days.
One thing real quick, to just as a side caveat: the Murtaugh home is on a Warner Brothers lot, obviously, but it's also right next to, location wise, right next to the fountain that was in Friends on the lot.
Interesting. All right, cool. With that,
Told you, there's so much like weird lore about this film. It's crazy.
Oh, awesome. We do encourage you to get out and investigate, and if not, just come here and learn about some shit from us, from you. All right. Before we end the show, we have a short, like we said, a short version of Lethal Weapon. We're going to flash it up on the screen and wrap up the show. So without further ado, by the way, if it goes a black for you, just tell me.
Okay,
Because last
here we
week,
go. The short
is it black?
version.
No? Okay.
Happy birthday, dear Daddy.
Now I can read you guys your rights, but now you guys already know what your rights are, don't you?
Every capsule was loaded with drain cleaner. If she hadn't jumped, she would have been dead inside 15 minutes. Raj, meet your new partner.
I'm too old for this shit.
I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Even if she hadn't jumped, she'd still be dead. She was murdered.
No guns, no jiu-jitsu, just bring him down.
Every single day I wake up and I think of a reason not to do it every single day.
I'm too old for this shit.
You ever met anybody you didn't kill?
Well, I haven't killed you yet.
You don't trust me at all, do you?
You make it through the mob without killing anybody, then I'll start trusting you.
What time is it?
It's daytime.
Okay.
What the hell thin's my middle name?
Yeah, your wife's cooking. I'm not surprised.
What?
Nothing.
Remarks like that will not get you invited to Christmas dinner. Not bad for an old man.
Have a nice day. It's probably nothing.
Probably nothing. Thin, very thin.
I saw it good. This is it. I remember.
Roger, that's a Special Forces tattoo.
She was killed because of something you're into.
Joshua, I think it's time we turned up the heat.
Bury the fuckers.
You have a very beautiful daughter. If I were you, I would stick by the phone to find out where to meet us.
Sergeant Martin Riggs was shot and killed.
Bingo. Riggs is out of the picture. You shoot to kill.
Are you as good as you say you are?
You're gonna have to trust me.
You come closer, and we all die.
Don't.
Spare me, son. It's over. There's no more heroes left in the world.
Would you like a shot at the title? Don't mind if I do. Your daughter kind of likes me.
If you touch her, I'll kill you.
You'll try.
See, I told you, double chest.
Yep.
Double side to the chest.
Center mass.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for tonight. Next week, we are covering Superman, original Superman with Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder, which, God help me, why this woman got this role, I have no idea. Stay tuned for behind the scenes next week. All right.
Oh, it's going to be a wild one.
Oh, but to interact with the show, ladies and gentlemen, please at me on Twitter at Mephisto. You can at me on Instagram at Mephisto79. You can write the show at the Reel McCoy podcast at gmail.com. Of course, our lovely fucking guest, Culture Casino. You can find him on YouTube. His links will be down below. You can find him on Twitter, same name, Culture Casino, and on Minds as well, Culture Casino. We will try to have him back for a full-on show, but he has other commitments. It is what it is. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Peace.